Hello, Forest School friends. Today I'm going to tell you the story of Sammy Squirrel. Sammy Squirrel. Both of those words start with the S sound. When you're reading, this is what the S sound looks like. But we don't have to think about that right now. We're just going to listen to the story, and then I'm going to show you how to draw Sammy Squirrel out of an S. So this is my friend Sammy. And one day, in the middle of winter, Sammy Squirrel woke up from a long nap. Tree squirrels don't hibernate like bears or other animals during the winter, but they do sleep a lot. They sleep for days and days, and when they wake up, they're very hungry. Fortunately, squirrels are really hard workers, so they spend a lot of time in the summer and fall eating food and storing up fat for the winter, and also burying food. They bury enough food in one summer and fall to last them for 3 years. And you know why that is? Because other animals will come and steal their food in the winter, or the squirrels will just forget where they buried it. So they have to bury a lot of food. Well, one day, my friend Sammy Squirrel left her dray, which a dray is a name for a squirrel's nest. And she left her dray and she came down the tree and she went searching for her store of food. Sorry, my kitty cat Chrono likes to be a part of the fun. So if you see him around, it's just because he wants to see what I'm doing. So Sammy Squirrel crawled down her tree and went sniffing around for her store of food. She went to the old oak tree and she unburied where she thought she had buried some food, and she couldn't find anything. She felt really sad. "I know I buried some food here," she said to herself. "Where did it go?" She didn't find her food, but she smelled a strange smell, and she realized that it smelled like her friend Ruby Raven. I wonder if Ruby Raven stole my food, thought Sammy. She went over to the giant boulder, another spot where she liked to bury her food, and she dug it up. And she couldn't find anything, just a few shells and acorn caps that were left behind. "I didn't find any food, but I sure do smell my friend Ruby Raven," said Sammy Squirrel. She thought of one other place where she had buried her store of nuts in the winter. She went over to the old fallen log and she undug the dirt that she had buried last fall, and she didn't find her store of nuts. She was very upset. "I smell Ruby Raven here too. This makes me so mad. She stole all of my food." So Sammy Squirrel went straight back to the old oak tree where she knew that Ruby Raven liked to sit, and she called to her, "Ruby! Ruby Raven!" And Ruby Raven flew down and she said, "Yes, Sammy Squirrel? Did you eat my store of nuts while I was sleeping?" "Oh, Sammy, I thought that food was for everyone. You buried so much food, I didn't think it could possibly be for you." "It was for me," cried Sammy Squirrel. "I have to bury so much food because you and your friends and the other squirrels eat it." "Oh, Sammy," said Ruby, "I am so sorry that I stole your nuts." Sammy felt sad, and she didn't think that anything could be done about it, except that she would have to dig deeper and harder for some of her other stores of nuts. But Ruby Raven had an idea. "Sammy, there's an old orchard with lots of dried apples that fell to the ground. Let me go with my friends and we will bring you back some apples, and then you can have those for dinner today." That brightened Sammy's mood quite a bit. She loved old dried fruits and apples. So she felt a little bit better and said, "Well, thank you, Ruby, if you feel like that would be okay." "Yes, of course, it's the least I could do," said Ruby. "I'm sorry." And so she flew off back to the orchard. Sammy Squirrel waited. I guess she can wait next to this cat here, huh? And Ruby and her friends flew back. And they dropped apple after apple after apple. And Sammy Squirrel was so delighted. She said, "Won't you stay with me and have a feast?" So Sammy and the ravens feasted on dried winter apples all day. And when they were done, the ravens and Sammy said, "Let's do this every week." So Sammy went back up to her dray to sleep for 6 more days. And the ravens flew up into their tree. And they were glad that they had friends to be with together during the cold, long winter. So in the story of Sammy Squirrel, there was a lot of sounds. We had the word Sammy, and we had the word squirrel, and we had the word stole, and sorry, and each of those words started with this sound. S, 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 s. See how that looks? So today I'm going to draw Sammy Squirrel, and this s sound is going to be her tail. So I'm going to draw Sammy's face and her little nose and her little ears, and let's see, Sammy's gonna have a really big bushy tail. Alright, I'm gonna get ahead of myself because her head is really small. I'm gonna make it bigger. And maybe she's a squirrel with some really big legs. She has to have strong legs from climbing up and down trees all day. I'm going to give her a little acorn to hold. And there's a little acorn. And I guess her head isn't that small. There we go. He's not half bad. Okay, now for her coloring, let's give her a big bushy tail. And squirrels need their tails because their tails help them balance when they climb. If they have the big bushy tail all fanned out when they're climbing a tree, it gives them extra balance for climbing trees. And there's Sammy's little brown fur. Where I live, I see brown squirrels, gray squirrels, and black squirrels. I don't know if that's everywhere, but where I live, there's some squirrels that are different colors. It's so interesting and fun to see. I'll redo her eye again. And she's really happy because she found an acorn that she buried. There we go. There's Sammy Squirrel. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye now.